there was I don't follow either of these teams, Philadelphia Flyers and a Penguins game that was live. And I was all over that. I could have died right then and there, and I would have gone wherever I was going happy. It was just wonderful, but no, not really like I used to.
Mr. Harkin, like, can you compare, like, when social media, when it was not as prominent as today, like, what do you think that has done for different products and, yeah, different brands across the world, and what it helps customers do?
What a well-timed question. I had this Facebook Faceanniversary thing pop up yesterday. It really freaked me out. I've been on Facebook for 12 years. So it was pretty much just like almost since the start. I remember because I was in university and it was still only for the universities at the time. So like from Harvard to other places in the States. And I got hooked up with that and like the only thing I could do was make a profile picture. And that's about it. So I guess since that is considered maybe more of the social media as we know it today, because like even before then there was like internet browsers and service providers and things like that, their own bits or chat rooms and whatever, and even then I wasn't on that for quite some time. I think that it's just changed the way we consume, changed the way we get information by far. And so because of that we can go in and get snippets of things, and like for us that's enough to tie us over. And yeah, I think that more companies are trying to do that, but at the same time, I think it's also now too much for people, where if all we do is get little bits of a lot of different things. I don't know if that's better for us.
So the social media has involved both ways. Like they have influenced us and we have influenced them. So in terms of sales and brand marketing, it has we have affected them such that they have affected us as well, and then in such a way that branding now has evolved from way before. It was in the 90s or the early 2000s. It's like you cannot be called an established brand if you don't have social media.
Right.
If you don't have Facebook, if you don't have Twitter, if you don't have Instagram, you cannot be an established brand without that. Something like that. But it has definitely evolved. I think the influence came from both ways, from them and from us consumers as well.
The fact that we respond to them, you know, like
Not
They do it according to what you search on Google, and then I get an ad on Facebook for something I searched up. I'm like,
it's not just they respond to us. We respond to them. It's them responding to us as well.
Okay. So we're gonna move into a two-part question right now. So the first one is for, again, Mr. Harkin and Mr. Hay, who like keep up with the product, and the second one is for all of you guys. So Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hay, like, can you please choose one of the following points below which would best describe your preferred aspect about the product? So Mr. Harkin, I'd like you to choose one word to your preferred aspect for the old product, WWF, and Mr. Hay for the new product. So any aspect of the product. Some ideas can be the physical aspect, behind the scenes, storylines, event management and organization, or following outside, online social media aspect, but that'll be relevant today. So yeah.
So for today's, I think the in-ring product is a lot better.
Can you talk about how it's changed from before?
So before, there would be really, really short matches, quite long in-ring kind of interview segments, and lots of backstage things going on, like lots of like attacks backstage, the hardcore title. You saw in the video there, it took place in like children's playground and getting the luggage. There's a lot more focus on actually getting good wrestlers, not just people who can jump through a flaming table.
Right. Or get thrown off a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah. So I actually prefer watching the matches now.
Okay.
More than what I used to.
So the matches are more like, you know, coordinated and well crafted, as opposed to like just like aggressive moves and whatnot.
Yeah.
Right. Mr. Harkin, so the old product, what you preferred about it?
For the newer or
So the old product, yeah. What aspect?
Can you repeat the words?
Yep. So please choose like any one point which would best describe your preferred aspect about the old WWF product. Any one word.
Okay, so
or
now-
any aspect of it.
Okay, so it is. Favorite part.
The story.
I'd say the characters.
Yeah. What about the characters?
So they weren't just everyday people, you know, who well, honestly, like more and more these days, they almost look more and more the same. Except like maybe one or two that
Right.
I off my head. Like back then when I was a kid, you guys were watching.
Yeah.
It was just a whole bunch of characters.
Yeah,
right?
different characters.
So like, you had a guy that was a trashman, you had a guy that worked on a boat, you had a clown, you had a Walking Dead man, you had a guy from the Ugandan jungle, you had very flamboyant guys and Ric Flair with the robes. Yeah, big superhero type guys, evil sinister villains wearing makeup and stuff all over the place. You had a lot more variety in the characters, and that's what I think made people that back then drawing because they had their favorites because of that. Now they're all just wear tights and they're muscular and tan.
But now they're more lean, like not as muscular as they were.
Right. Okay. So I mean, but like they are more lean, but
Yeah. They don't have the great dynamic and over-top characters as they did before.
those are
Okay. That's exactly like
That's
what.
what I remember.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Macho Man, even Macho Man.
Yep.
Ultimately.
Even though he didn't speak English, like he didn't speak properly, right? His character like defined who he was, right? So like that's exactly what I wanted to touch on. So here, like based on Mr. Harkin, Mr. Hayes' response upon the preferred aspects about the products in the different times, and also like keeping in mind that the WWE have now publicly announced that they're targeting the entire family as opposed to only adults and preteens, as they have in the old era. So like, why do you think that the image of wrestlers has become more lean and athletic as opposed to very big and muscular as they were before? So the WWE have announced that they're targeting the entire family, so every single member of the family, from the son to the father to the mother, every single person, as opposed to as they had before with adults and teens. So the image of wrestlers has changed, like from being more, now they are more lean and toned down as opposed to very big, jacked and muscular. So why do you think that has happened? Anyone can, yeah.
I think to give more credibility to it as a sport. If you take back in the day when I used to watch it, like Andre the Giant, George the Animal Steele, not particularly athletic men, but they were big. And then you had Jake the Snake Roberts, who everybody was afraid of him because he had this, what was the snake's name?
He had a video of Damien was the first
Damien.
one.
Do you remember what's his name, who sat on that?
Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant one, anyway, but I think it was, like, you could be his boy. I don't think he was particularly well built or muscular, but he had the damn snake.
Yeah.
That was his boy. And then
It's actual snake.
that was
He'd
his
bring it to the
snake.
ring.
That was the boa constrictor, right?
Yep.
And I think now, although I question some of those guys, I can't remember, I was somewhere I was watching, look at Goldberg, and the guy came out of the ring. Who was he wrestling? He looked like or it sounded like he had a Russian accent. And both of them, yeah. I don't
All right,
think I've
yeah.
ever seen thighs on a man that big. He was huge, and I'm thinking, man, how much of that is regular workout, and how much of that is like jacked, like steroids? So
Yeah.
I don't know what it's perpetuating. If it's, I think they want to take it to a different level of athleticism, where it's not kind of like in the old day characters in a three-ring circus. Now they want them to be lean, toned. You have to be an athlete to be able to do this.
But why do you think that change has happened?
Because our whole philosophy of working out has changed.
Could it be the viewers from before
Yeah.
now grown up and now they have kids, so they have a different outlook
Mm-hmm.
on how they want to portray?
Probably
And our changes just in.
I think it's probably just more relatable. It's not as many just charming people walking around like, hey, it's just like me. But just some more relatable, and so that more people are like, hey, I could be like that. I'm similar body shape. Maybe I could be a wrestler.
Mm.
demographics, the market base, not just relatable. Yeah, I mean, it's easier for you to become a wrestler now.
Right. And as they target like the
than
entire
before.
family.
You
Yep.
don't have to be that huge to be.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
If you think about, I guess in the 90s was Watch, like the first really big guy that changed everything was Steve Austin, who kind of looked like a normal guy, just with a bald head, and he swear all the time. But he wasn't overly big or
It's his character which made him.
Right? It was just, he looked like a normal guy, and people related to that, and he got tired of being, I guess, jerked around by his boss. So he made funny stories about it.
Okay.
So I think, yeah, they more of it.
Mr. Hay, do you want to?
Also, because they've implemented wellness policy as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot stricter drug tests.
Yep.
And it makes it a bit more difficult to be that size.
Yep.
So because they're not supposed to be taking steroids and things anymore, because they're getting tested regularly, and then it's like 3 suspensions and then you're out. They don't really take the risk anymore.
Yeah, it's true. They had like 3 people suspended, like one by one,
Yeah.
past few months.
So have the rules changed since?
Yeah.
Yeah, since the Chris Benoit incident, they then came up with this wellness policy where talents tested randomly, 2 or 3 times a year, and then your first suspension is 30 days, then 60 days, then 90 days, and then you're gone. And I think that's changed it as well. And I think people know now, they're a lot more aware of why these guys were so big. Getting back to it can be me. If you're not taking steroids and the guys don't look like they're taking steroids, I don't know.
Yep.
And the people don't just disappear either. Like whenever that happens with somebody, because it's a publicly traded company, they actually announce it to the public saying, yeah, this person, tell them what their real name is, got suspended for violating the wellness violation, like you would in the NFL or baseball or whatever. Whenever somebody like they'll get fined or penalized, they do the exact same thing. So it doesn't. It's like, oh, where did they go? They tell you what happened.
Yep. Like even the guy who was the world champion, like Roman Reigns, like he was suspended just a few months back as he had the belt. So then they had to make him lose the belt, and then he was just gone. And then they made an announcement on their website, and everyone like lost their minds. That yeah.
And they decided that they do it with everybody, but not just.
Yeah, they
famous people.
exactly. They have it randomly and they do it on everyone, and something which wasn't there before. Okay, so now something which today's WWE product like does quite extensively, which was previously unheard of and quite untraditional related to wrestling, the wrestling business, which is to show like the backstage elements, like elements behind the character they portray, like the actual person. So we're gonna see a video now, like which shows like a snippet of a network special show, like following the character, like Seth Rollins, through a serious injury recovery, and is one of the many shows in offering of the WWE Network today, like which is like a streaming service like Netflix, which actually shows like who the persona is and like follows them in their lives and preparations before a match and what not. Yeah.
Going for a move I've done a million times. I just landed on the instep of my right foot and my right knee just caved in. Things can just slip through your fingers just like that. From the operating room, it's an ACL tear plus a pretty bad meniscus tear plus a pretty bad MCL tear through both layers. To the training room. The first month was, it hurts. It hurts. The cameras of WWE 24 chronicle Seth Rollins' journey back to the ring. The highs. The last month, like a rocket. The lows. I'm literally just miserable the whole time. And the shocking return. Oh my God! It's Seth Rollins! Seth Rollins is back! WWE 24. Seth Rollins. Redesign. Rebuild. Reclaim. This Monday, immediately following Raw. Only on WWE Network.
So like, why do you think in today's time the WWE have decided to include like such shows as a part of their major?
I think some of the same reasons they've already discussed, making it more real, or I could be like that, getting, relating with the people
that they post in IG their time with a family, for example. And I think part of being a fan, you would be interested in the personal life of the person. So about that.
So you can like live like vicariously through them.
Yeah, and just build a better connection with them. It's like, basketball, I think Steph Curry's great, but then it shows all these behind the scenes things and it shows him as a real person. It's like, oh, he's such a nice person, and look at all the things he does. And I'm gonna want to buy into him as a product a lot more than just what's going on in the NBA.
So I follow Steph Curry and his wife, and I'm so interested in that, right? So,
Mr. Hay?
I think we do it now because we can have that platform now with the network. I mean, before, when similar injury Triple H had, all you really got was like a 2-minute kind of montage with U2's Beautiful Day playing in the background, and that was all they could do then. But now they've got the network and they have to fill up time. So they surveyed fans of the kind of things that they wanted to see, and more behind the scenes stuff was obviously on that list. Because they've done other ones about WrestleMania and things like that. And I think now that everybody knows that it's a show, it's predetermined, so they enjoy seeing how it works behind the scenes. It's like having making of extras on DVDs and things of how to make the film. So some people are interested in that.
Mr. Harkin?
I think that, they figured out that people like watching the journeys of things, like as they turn to whatever they are. I think that's why some of the best films can be like that, compared to that. And I think that they also had previous success with other wrestlers, even though it might have been small in stature, people really like remember that and really got into it. It's just unfortunate, I think, if like get hurt, like, oh, we can see, just I think we get that much more excited to see the back, like, hey, they're going to be okay, really enjoy watching, whatever. Things that they figured out a long time ago, they just now have a new way of showing it.
Okay. So now we're gonna move into our last question. So based upon our answers and discussions here today, like to the previous questions, like which era of WWE, like as a whole, including all elements, would you be more favorable to as a person or a consumer? And if you could go back and change one thing of the old product, like what would it be and why? So which one are you more favorable to? And if you could go back and change one thing about the old product, what would it be and why? You can evaluate as a person or as a consumer. So.
The old product sounded really cool. There was a lot of different characters. So if I were watching, I'd be like more entertained if there was like a clown fighting a garbage man, and people sound a lot cooler, and then there's two dudes fighting each other. All I know is they win in that fight. And then so I guess just misogyny and sexism is what I would be changing.
Why?
Because I like equality and treating people fairly.
Okay. So anybody wanna extend on what Mr. Ian said? He's along the right lines.
I think I prefer the older, watching it like a long time ago, because my friends watched it, and although there's all this social media and things now, but I don't really take part in that. I used to talk about it with people. Luckily now,
we found each other.
Yeah, we found each other.
We're like,
I've gone about 10 years without having anybody to really interact with, and I quite enjoyed that. But I would probably change. I would bring the wellness policy in earlier. It would have saved a lot of deaths, and ultimately programming would have been better. That's what I would do.
Ms. Ross?
Building on both things that the gentleman said, I definitely keep the old ones with the characters. And I like that battle between good and evil where the good guy wins. but I also want to include like health issues and physical and mental health, because I'm sure you guys know, remember Kerry Meyer, Texas tornado?
Yeah.
And
His whole family.
And his whole family, much like the Harts, they all wrestled as well. But I don't know if you guys knew, he wrestled with a prosthetic foot.
Which one?
Oh, Kerry.
Was it Kerry prosthetic foot?
Yeah, one of them did, and I think he became so upset that he wouldn't be able to go in the ring anymore, he committed suicide. So I think advocating for mental and personal health and kind of like following and pursuing your dreams, but do it the right way and always be a good example to other people.
Ms. Bridget?
Oh, I like the whole, but see, I haven't really even watched the news, so I don't know if I could make a valid comparison between the two. Because I've never watched any of the new ones. I just remember watching it when my kids were growing up and stuff.
Ms. Karen?
I think I prefer the old for the same reasons that they have with them. I've seen the snippets of the new one. I've seen a people watch them, but yeah, I think the older one was seemed less staged. I don't know.
Yeah.
It seemed more realistic. So that's one reason why I like it better. Because when I watch the newer ones now, it's like, I don't like it.
Okay. And finally, Mr. Harkin.
I don't know, I like a lot of elements of everything as it evolves, but then try to be careful of like, man, I remember when I was a kid, I'd see this and that. I think just as a person growing up, I think I got more joy out of it when I was younger, as a kid. Maybe because of characters and believing in it or whatever, you know. So I'd say the older, and say, yeah, there's something that they would change. I think it'd be if there's just the health, like everything that we know these days, and what happens, like, you know, with their brains and their bodies, and what it's led to with mental abuse and things like that. That would be cool if like, that was my thing, because then you wouldn't have as many instances of more people dying at a young age and just a lot of other things.
So I hope like we all like have a more better understanding of what like WWE is and the wrestling industry.
So what did the younger ones say? They liked the WWE
Yeah,
better?
they all liked the older one better, and they've like specifically commented that they would have wanted to implement the wellness policy, so like it would have prevented the deaths of older wrestlers and also to carry on